contemporary reggae and reggae, dancehall and afrobeats. In times of people building walls and trying to separate and segregate people, it is important to show on a cultural level that despite any differences, we have a lot in common. Welcome Bushman, Jazzy T of Renaissance Sound and Stonebwoy. Our other guests are coming too.
Oh, Jazzy T? So we only have one missing?
Is Bushman in the house?
No. But Snap near no. Snap's near
Do we have
Check.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think we can start the session with the guests that we have at the moment, and we'll welcome the third member when he's here.
Okay.
So, come in, Riddim Posse.
Yes, let me first start to briefly introduce our guests on the panel. I start with Jazzy T, or selector Tariq Jazzy T Thompson, is a veteran member of the famous Renaissance Sound, one of the leading Jamaican sound systems that currently celebrates its 30th anniversary. Renaissance are as busy as ever.
Yes, please welcome Bushman.
Yes, man, respect, and thank you for having us here at Rototom. It's an unbelievable joy, trust me, so I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you.
Let me just add a few words about Renaissance. It's like I said, they're celebrating their 30th anniversary and are as busy as ever, playing their mix of old and new dancehall and reggae fused with global urban styles and spiced with impressive remixes and dubplates. They are known for pushing the boundaries and pleasing different crowds all over the world. Founded by selector Delano Thomas, the creative team of selectors and MCs have progressed from humble sound beginnings to a well-equipped workforce with their own studio. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay, let me go on and introduce Bushman, and another round of applause for all the three guests. I'm glad we could have you all.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, we have a little bit of casualty with the plane today. Yeah, traveling from England to Valencia, heard the pilot say, yo, we gotta go to Barcelona because there's no technician in Valencia to take care of this problem that we have. So we had to divert to Barcelona, sit there for 2 hours, and I'm here. This is what reggae does. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, big up.
Yeah. So.
Okay, let me add a few words and introduce you, and then we're gonna start. Bushman was born in the spiritual Jamaican parish of St. Thomas, where he was raised as a Rastafarian. After meeting renowned production team Steely and Clevie in the car park of Arrow's studio, where they were playing football, the talented singer and musician auditioned on the spot and soon recorded Call the Hearse. In 1997, he released his first album, Nyaman Chant, and then moved on to work with King Jammies, who produced his albums Total Commitment, including one of his biggest hits, Fire Upon a Weak Heart, and Higher Ground, and the album Higher Ground. His rich, deep voice resembles the one of Pier Tosi, as you can hear in Bushman Sings the Bush Doctor. Welcome, Bushman, to Rototom Reggae University.
Yes, sir.
Ghana's finest, Stonebwoy. He's a reggae, dancehall, as well as Afrobeats singer, rapper, and DJ who realized his talents at a very early age. As a high school student, he started out as a battle rapper who is said to have never been defeated. He then moved on as a dancehall DJ, scoring his first hits, Makuma and Empress, before even finishing high school in 2007. In 2012, he formed his own record label, Burniton Music Group, BMG, to release his own music. On his last album, the internationally acclaimed double CD, Epistles of Mama, he collaborated with Jamaican artists like Sean Paul, Agent Sasco, iOctane, Pressure Busspipe from the Virgin Islands, and Faye and Lion from Trinidad, as well as Afrobeat stars like Burna Boy from Nigeria, Sarkodie, and Efia, both from Ghana. Welcome, Stonebwoy, to Reggae University.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here amongst the top dignitaries and legendary Bush Doctor Bushman from Jamaica and a host of, you know, the organizers and everybody. Thank you, Reggae University, for giving us, the younger generation, an opportunity to add our voices to what has always been and what the future is going to be like. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Bushman, before we put the first question to you, we would like to remind the audience of one of your biggest hits, Fire Upon a Weak Heart.
Lord of mercy, whoa, 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 well. We burn a fire upon a weak heart, Babylon and the free talk could have never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with the frown. Me burn a fire upon a weak heart, Babylon and the free talk could have never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with the frown. The work goes for so long on the plantation, and me never get paid. A gold they stole away, how many life them slay. Now them works has locked them in them face. Why are yes, you are your cook and cook too well. Cause after we know and you could look me
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Yes, I.
You know, since the title is Three Signs of a Coin, you know, reggae, dancehall, and Afrobeats, which I want to see, you know, not being segregated. That's why we are all sitting here. I want to ask you, Bushman, you were raised as a Rasta and are known for very conscious lyrics. Were you ever tempted to do dancehall in your career or in the early career especially?
Yeah, well, dancehall is what brought me to the forefront. I mean, rinsing, shot and head, no need to bawl, no need to beg. It's really a dancehall music, you know what I mean, dancehall beat, but the lyrical content is really speaking of violence as it is. You know, a lot of people would think that it's a gun tune, this and I tell you to kill people, you know. But it's not really a gun tune telling anyone to kill anyone. If you notice, the introduction says, mankind ain't no easy, mankind, you know what I'm saying? So, selectors like Jazzy T and Kilimanjaro, Freddie, and so on and so forth, they are like a family. And the chain is as strong as its weakest link. And the way how you portray or impose the song on other people, that's what brings the thought to their mentality, you know what I'm saying? So, at times, people just play that part that just says, rinse and shot in the head, and then people just get that like it's really a gun song, but no. It's just speaking of what we have seen as a kid growing up. Youngsters have zero tolerance, no mercy. So we just sing about it. But it really started in the dancehall. And we have never strayed like lyrically, like some people do a kind of music because that is what is maybe selling or what is happening. I've never strayed, never changed, because I have an objective to bring the message of love, peace, and unity to the world. And to be a part of this music which brings nation together from all walks of life. Yo, words can't explain, you know? So, Rastafari, I know, I am grateful to be a part of this movement, which is a music which brings people together. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you really made a good point, you know, because sometimes people bash dancehall, but it's, you know, what you sing about, and you can put positive messages on dancehall beats same way. And sometimes when it even might sound harsh, you know, it is an environment that people are singing about, you know, experiences, and sometimes also a lack of education, right?
Yes, everyone sees things through their own eyes, different ways, you know, and then this music is a platform to express yourself, and everyone expresses themselves the way how they see or feel to express themselves, self-expression. So it's just us now to really listen the content of the lyrics and, you know, as we would say in Jamaica, pick sense out of nonsense, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Rastafari.
A question for Stonebwoy. Can you tell us what significance reggae and dancehall has in Ghana, in your home country? And also maybe why you choose yourself to sing reggae and dancehall?
To be honest, as young as I am, I grew up on a lot of morals, you know what I mean, and consciousness, the African way. No discriminations, but I know everybody has their own morals and they have dignities to keep. I grew up in an African home, and in an African home, you know, you have to obey the rules. You have to have what do you say? They say charity begins at home. So those principles will surely be instilled. Then again, finding myself as an art, you know, a talent. I mean, singing for my people in class from when I was a baby, Disturbing and all these ones. I realized that if I was going to continue to do this, I'd had to do it in a way that my mother or my father would be proud of and can allow me to, else I wouldn't be here today. They wouldn't allow me to go sing just anything if I wanted to sing something, because I grew up from a church house as well. So then I realized that no, reggae music is one that has all the qualities, that has the message, that has the teachings in there. And also getting to know that African music is a root of reggae music. That's how come we can so relate and connect to it. So I saw it as me having all the legal rights, geographical rights, human rights to do reggae music and dancehall music with afrobeats as well. Yes, sir.
Before I put my next question to you, I would like to play a song from your last album. It's the title song, Mama.
She says that the hardest times bring the sweetest times. She says that nobody knows tomorrow. She also says that they can't get you down if you don't let them. Mama tell me, Mama did I tell me, times like this will come, so I gotta be strong. Mama tell me, Mama did I tell me, times like this will come, so I gotta be strong. Well, Mama said, don't let them trick you, don't let them fool you now, because the smile in their face is actually filled with frown. Boy, them said them wish you well, but them no wish you figure further than them. Even the food and the plate, if you beg it from them, them full up of hate and I can't relate to them. I try. First, we don't take it from them.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, as we could hear, the song combines more than one style.
Exactly.
Since the last couple of years, West Africa, mostly Ghana and Nigeria, have become internationally known for a style called afrobeats.
Exactly.
Which is, for some people, a bit confusing. I often, when I hear afrobeats, I think of Afrobeat without an S, which is the sound that was created by Fela Kuti, while Afrobeats is more urban, danceable. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the emergence of Afrobeats and what you think of the name and how this came about.
Thank you very much. The Afrobeat and the Afrobeats, like you're saying, Afrobeat without the S would remind you of Fela, right? And the history of Fela teaches you how organic, like you're saying, from the western part of Africa, that sound brewed. High life music is what was the foundation of the Afrobeat of Fela. Did you get what I'm trying to say? So I think at a point where it had to be represented on a foreign front, then there had to be a name to represent it globally. And that was where Afrobeat came in place, as far as history tells me. But that sound is actually high life sound, which originated around the 1920s in Ghana. You know what I mean? And Fela is a Nigerian and a humanitarian and an activist who has also combed the four corners of Africa and endowed himself with that knowledge. And also, I see him as one of the people who got the opportunity or the privilege and the blessings to represent the forefront as it would be today for especially Nigerians who are known for fronting the Afrobeats of today. So I believe that for me, the Afrobeat and the Afrobeat is just one thing, one source, refreshed and evolved in new school today. Old school would be Fela, and new school is us today. And that's how come you have probably the S added to the new school, because it's more versatile with a lot of other Africans doing it, you know, and it's more coined up and very stylish. Like now, you find Stonebwoy here who does Afrobeats, blends it with reggae and dancehall at my convenience, because this is where Africa is getting to. And now time is here. You find the Caribbean people and the African people coming together some more. Remember years ago we were splitted, you know, not by slave trade only, but by the quest. You know, people travel across the globe to live, to settle, and all these things. But here is the time our music is coming together, be it from the days of high life, from the days of Afrobeat into the days of Afrobeats today. That's why we're all here.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to bring Jazzy T into the discussion. Jazzy T, 30 years in the business.
Yep.
Yeah, that means quite something, right? So what does it take as a sound system in this competitive world of sound systems, you know, to stay on top for such a long time?
Well, you see, first thing, you have to be real to the game. You have to just keep it real and stay focused, because in our line of music, in our duty to deliver music to people all over the world, it takes focus and a lot of preparation. So for us to be 30 years, it's a lot of preparation, a lot of focus, and a lot of humbleness. That's most important, humbleness. So, because in this business, if you don't have humbleness, you will get led astray. So for me and the whole Renaissance crew, we always stayed humble, and we play for all kinds of people. And my thing is, I like reading the crowd. So I can play for one person in a party and play for 50,000 people. And I can rock that one person and rock 50,000 people. That is what a good DJ is. You have to prepare, you have to study history of music, you have to also, most importantly, stay focused and humble. I repeat that all the time.
Thank you so much. And Jazzy T, how would you describe the selection of Renaissance compared to other sound? When you started out, you know, you're having different twists. Maybe you can enlighten the audience.
Okay, so that's what Renaissance is about. The rebirth. That's the meaning of Renaissance, the rebirth. Now, when we started in 1989, I joined Renaissance 1993. Now, Renaissance style is different from every other sound because we mix different genres worldwide, but it leads right back to dancehall and reggae. So, for example, the first time we played with Stone Love, because we're considered uptown sound. That's what everybody always calls us, the uptown sound.
Yeah, maybe you have to explain that to, I'm not sure if everybody knows like this,
Okay. So, why they call us the uptown sound is because we used to play at parties, while versus the dance hall would be more in the ghetto sides and stuff like that. But the merge now between the thing was Renaissance merged that right now there's no uptown Jamaica. There's no uptown, it's just one now. We merged the music with dancehall and reggae. For example, remixes. We're the first Jamaican sound to merge hip hop and reggae together. Hence Cape Town tour on Slick Rick, right? Just a lot of things. So our style is more versatile with all genres of music. I can remember the first time I recorded Bushman. Bushman didn't know me. We were at the Arrow Studio. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
This was like 1996 or 95. 95, I think.
Early 96.
Yeah, it was early 96. We recorded Bushman dub plate, and we asked for the split track, and we put Bushman on Ainika Moses' rhythm. But he voiced on the original, but we remixed it on Ainika Moses' Hot Stepper, and that was a big Renaissance anthem. For example, again, Sizzla Kalonji taking over. Our Renaissance anthem is on an Eve beat. So we merged that hip-hop, reggae, that's what bust Renaissance. When we linked up with Bounty Killer, one of our biggest projects was the Nitro remix. That was released on VP label, the remix with Bounty Killer. Them leave the world, cho, 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 cho. That was a Renaissance remix. So that's what really makes us different, remixing and versatility with all genres of music.
Thank you so much, Jazzy T.
Question for Bushman. As Alan said in the introduction, you hail from St. Thomas, and as far as I know, you still live there. And St. Thomas is known for its spiritual history and culture. And how far did growing up there influence your music and the content of your music?
Yeah, well, St. Thomas, for who don't know, is on the eastern side of Jamaica. It's neighboring parish with Portland and St. Mary. Now, St. Thomas was the home of dancehall, like the likes of King Yellowman, Aces International, which is one of the big sound that Yellowman followed also. King Majesty, which win that 3-sound clash in the National Stadium in Jamaica. And .5 Disco, Stereograph used to play in St. Thomas a lot. Now my dad was a man who goes out and tape these sessions. He used to have a JVC cassette player that with one speaker. And in those days, it was 25 cents if you're not taping that dance. But if you're taping the dance, it's 50 cents. Now, I remember my dad with 3 cassettes and wondering, should I tape this dance tonight? Because what is on it is so great. Is this dance tonight is gonna be better than what I taped previously? So, waiting on dad to come home from dancehall was one of the things that really brings this kind of influential ability towards the music. Just waiting on that to come home to hear the Stereograph, to hear the Brigadier Jerry, the Josie Wheel. Because in those days, as opposed to now, we had to follow sound system. You have to be an artist which affiliates with a sound system to get a break, because the mixtape and so on, the new word is mixtape, but these tapes bring you throughout the world. So you have to follow one sound. Likewise, you would have Daddy Blue, you'd have Ricky Chupa before he was Ricky Chupa, DJing on Kilimanjaro. You know what I mean? Puro Bantan, the whole works. So this is where it really starts. St. Thomas, the home of dancehall. Yeah. And that's my influence. So growing up in St. Thomas, dancer was my thing. Picking up buckle in the dance. My dad was a promoter. So at the age 9, I used to be out there picking up the bottles in the dance. Make sure that every bottle is back in the crate because that's where the profit is. Yes, I. So that's my influence, Rastafari.
And I have a question for Stonebwoy. Stonebwoy, maybe you can tell us a bit about in how far differ Ghanaian reggae and dancehall from Jamaican reggae and dancehall. So is there a difference, and if so, what is the difference?
Thank you very much. There is a similarity, I wouldn't say difference, because it's one thing, you know? It's one music, it's one source, it's one root. So I would say similarities like my legends here, we refer to it. But the spice as well is that it sounds like it's in the past, but this thing is coming back at us now. You know, that same similarity or the spice that there is coming back at us now, where you find out that I speak some Twi, I speak some Ewe, and I speak some Gan, and I speak some Hausa with or on my songs, you know, and my rhythms are actually not. If it's reggae, it's reggae, because I have a lot of big producers, Grammy-winning producers from Jamaica that I've worked with on my stuff over the years, you know, that I've been here, you know. So you find out that the similarities and the spice, I don't want to refer to it as a difference, is that Africans are more. That is home, and it's more diverse. I'm sorry to say, but I think after singing Jamaican reggae proper and dancehall in patois, that's it. Yeah. But in Ghana alone, I can tell you about 100+ languages in which you can sing that same reggae. So that is the spice, and I don't think it's a difference. So I think that the future is going to get there now. The future is going to be that all tongues of black people can enjoy and match and do the same reggae and dancehall and afrobeats, and we're all going to sing one song. Remember what Bob Marley said, you know?
Yeah, of course, a big round of applause. I see it the same. I had kind of a bit the impression, maybe I'm wrong, that the lyrics are not as hardcore and as sexual explicit. I'm not sure if that is an observation, which is, you know.
Thank you very much. I think that it's like I would say again, growing up on explicit music, you used to hear those words in poems. You used to hear them very, how do they say? They say them very metaphorically, that you don't really get to hear if it's a P, you don't hear the P word. If it's you don't hear it. But then our legends and those before us still put it in a way that we would have to even ask our parents about it. But remember, with the influence of time and the Western movement and how cool it has become now, like Bushman was saying, to just throw anything, like he said, nonsense, in the song is now of a norm, because the world is jumping to, sorry to say, nakedness on Instagram. That's what everybody's looking at. The world is jumping to things like that. So lyrically, it is transforming also, that there's a lot of music that has these vibes. And this is not only has to do with music from Ghana or music from elsewhere. This is what the world is now, because we're all a global village now. You know what I mean? Because I'm only 31, so I think the world had become a global village before I was born. So I found myself in that area where explicit is not only coming from Ghana music or Ghanaian music, it's around the world. But depending on the individual as an artist and the message that you represent, why not? And one thing I want to add is that we're all allowed to sing about love, about sex, because we are humans. We go through all these things, but the way we put it.
Yeah, the way you put it. Yeah, the way you put
Can I say something? Can I say something about that?
Yes,
Because
yes,
if mommy and daddy never love each other, I wouldn't be here. You guys wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but one of the difference that I see within the music now, the social media makes it all together. You know what I'm saying? Because unlike days when I remember coming to Europe without no social media, You know what I'm saying? The first social media we learned about was MySpace. Right? So I remember coming to Europe when there was phone without cameras. When we would have to sit down and sign like 100 promotional pictures. You know what I'm saying? So people can prove that, yes, we met Bushman. This is the proof. Now, a selfie. You know what I'm saying? So this brings the world together. And then matters not the language. Everybody sees this music from their perspective. And we can always find some common ground within that sound or that language or within the lyrical content.
Absolutely.
So it makes us one.
Absolutely.
Rastafari.
You see, one thing, what Bushman just said, absolutely true. And it's very important because you asked the question, how do we last 30 years? That proves it because we use the same morals from when we had nothing. Mm-hmm. We had no social media when Renaissance started. We had to have our little cassettes, you know, and same thing. So, but we use that morals in today's world with the social media, and we keep our ground rooted. We don't get crazy with it.
No.
Because social media, a lot of people get carried away.
Right.
So keep that moral from back then to now. That's how we last so long.
Yep. Properly said.
Check. Bushman, I have a question. We're discussing about three coins of three sides of the same coin. It's roots reggae, one drop, dancehall, and Afrobeat. And once again, it's the African vibe. The motherland is Africa. So I would like to know what, in general terms and musical terms, is for you Africa, and if you ever been to Africa to perform, what has been the reaction of the people?
Well, in general terms, Africa to me is my home, and then this music brings you across every borders. You know what I'm saying? We just play what we want, when we want, how we want. You know what I'm saying? And we keep it real. And as I said, people can always relate to what you're saying, because when you think you're alone in this world, you're not alone. Sometimes I hear artists sing songs that I'm wondering, this guy knows something about me. This guy is talking about me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I've been to Nigeria, and Lagos is more like a dancehall energy. But when you go outside of Lagos, the roots rock reggae is there. Only thing that most promoters think they don't make enough money in those areas. So they try to stay where the money is. You know what I'm saying? Commercially. We have seen music change, transcend, you know what I'm saying? As I said before, with social media and so on. What I don't want to be is a person who think that anything goes. You know what I'm saying? Just to get likes, just to get views. Anything doesn't go.
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Very true, very true.
Yes.
And to see Stonebwoy, Tenko, Burna Boy, all these African artists join in, it's like one world music. You don't understand how it's a joy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it makes me feel so happy to know that all these people all over the world is joining together. Because right now, dancehall, Afrobeats, reggae is just amazing right now.
Jazzy, I think Afrobeat is doing a great work. I was in Zurich a couple weeks ago, and this is a root sound. It's a heartbeat.
Right.
The drums. Anyone can relate to this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it brings people together. Yeah, man. So being a part of this, as I said before,
Joy.
there's no other place but music.
True.
Yes, I.
Yes. I have a question for Stonebwoy. In the same way that Bushman was talking about experiencing dancehall prominently in Lagos and roots reggae outside of Lagos, can you enlighten the people a little bit about, in terms of afrobeats and kind of dancehall orientation in Ghana? Is it a similar thing? Is dancehall like an urban phenomenon? And then what about, where did you yourself grow up, and how did you first encounter reggae and dancehall?
Thank you very much. I grew up in the city of Ashaiman. When you hear of Ashaiman, or when you Google Ashaiman, you know, it's one of the toughest, the biggest cities in Ghana where anybody can grow up from. Like, when all up onto the extent that when you're from Ashaiman, everybody just knows that you come from a bad place. So they either don't want to associate with you because they know you're too hardcore. You're like, you know, hot-headed. That's where I grew up from. So I think there's one thing with reggae, dancehall, and places such as ghettos. So you see, you definitely hear reggae music or dancehall music in the ghettos, but you hear other forms of music in the uptown. Why? Because in the ghettos, the reggae speaks to the people. The roots speak to the people. The dancehall give them a certain kind of energy to know so them can go out the road and get things going on. To go party and all these things. So there's nowhere like growing up from a place where you touch base with reality. And that's how come I got the influence of reggae music and dancehall music, which is absolute reality. Nonetheless, like I always repeat and say, because not a lot of people know, so if I don't say it, you know, highlight music, like I always say, was reggae music to us.
Okay.
Highlight music was reggae music to us. Even if you picked an artist and you played it, you heard it. And so when I got to realize reggae music busting through from the 1960s and then there, and I see the elements of afrobeats, that is the same elements that make the reggae music, then it takes you back into blackness where we all belong. Yes, sir. It takes you back to reality where we all come from. We all come from reality. You know what I mean? So the music can definitely relate to us. And so this is how I got my inspiration to even choose the genre of music, because I saw myself as a person who had a lot of vibe and a lot of content to give. And if you have content to give, you can only give it through reggae music, through high life music, and even through dancehall by the choice of concept and vibe. And that is what can relate to everybody around the world, whether you're black, blue, purple, white, or green. It's one love, one music. See, and so it gives me a lot of joy to be one of the youths that have found themselves on this spot. Big ups to legendary Bushman. I used to listen to Bushman from when? I used to listen to Sizzler from when? And today I have a song with Sizzler. I used to listen to Kippleton, I have a song with Kippleton. I used to listen to Beanie, I have a song with Beanie. Sean Paul, I have a song with Sean Paul. So it's just dreams coming true because of hard work and vision and looking at these people as role models that has brought me this far amongst people like this. I'm glad to be performing right now at Sunsplash. Yesterday I graced it with Morgan Heritage. So you can only imagine, and I appreciate their support. They're not only supporting me, but they're going back to their roots, to connect with the roots, you know what I mean, with young ones like us. You see me? I say so. It's not really about the age or height or whatever. It's just them connecting back, and we're also willing to reach out. Because remember, Africa is a continent, and Caribbean doesn't even outnumber a quarter of us. So it's real people, and it's original people coming together.
Thank you.
Before we open it up for question and answer from the audience, I would like to talk to Jazzy T about production, because Renaissance is also known for its productions. And for example, one of your own productions that came out on your Gravity label was a song that gave an artist a break that just the other day was the headliner on the main stage, Busy Signal. Yeah. Before we talk about it, I would like to play Step Out by Busy Signal.
in a me block and step out in a me block and
Hey, hey, test 1, 3. Me not test 2. What about you? Testing, 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 test. It's going after me. Step out in a me block, block, and a me chew, bam, shot, and a bam, span, bad man no take back chat and no, y'all again from. I know if not, but not maybe. The girl got 9 months, she get baby. Me no lazy, alright then. Oh yeah, boss boss, smoke weed, have fun. What we do? Oh yeah, boss boss, smoke weed, don't cheat. Me a no gun bag, no sponge bag. Boy, this end up in a body bag. 2 tag, escape on bicycle, me don't drive. Jack, 58, 9 shot, 3 star, 9 stop. DNA testing at the sides. Lamb, boy, disrespect. Me get, me guns, me do a fine job. Tell them what me do. Oh yeah, boss guns, smoke weed.
quality.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So,
Yeah, maybe you can tell us a bit about how this production came about, what was the idea behind it, and
okay, so as I told you earlier, Renaissance we're versatile. So back in 1999, me and my partner Delano said, you know what, let's try this rhythm thing. Cause we bought a MPC drum machine, and we said, let's fool around with this beat making thing and see where it can go. Because at this time now, we're Renaissance, we're big, so we're like thinking future, what more can we do? So we're like, all right, let's go into production. Because all the artists them used to come check we at our base and give us dub plates and, you know. So we said, okay, let's try this. So Busy Signal, well, before Busy was Sean Paul. Sean Paul used to come to Renaissance base in his school uniform and record all kind of songs. And we're like, boy, Sean, that one not gonna work, you know, but let's try a different one. And you know, dirty, yeah, and stuff like that. So if you know, we bust Sean Paul, yeah, because he was considered uptown as well. So we had that in the circle. So anyway, so I went to do a show in Connecticut, and Busy Signal was the selector that was playing before Renaissance comes on. His name was DJ Hype Up in Connecticut. I was like, so after the show was done, he gave me a cassette and said, please listen to my song. And I said, okay. I didn't have a cassette player in the hotel room, but in the car that was carrying us, I put the cassette in, and I heard busy, and I'm like, this could be a style. It's a new style.
Fresh.
Yeah, it sounds refreshing.
Fresh.
So I linked him the day after, and I said I was flying out, but we went to lunch, and he was like, I want to go eat so and so. Busy was like, yo, me not eat meat, you know. We're gonna go somewhere we're vegetarian. So I said, good. So we went to a vegetarian spot and we're talking. He said he's coming to Jamaica the following month. Anyway, long story short, Busy came to Jamaica. We had like tons of beats from that same drum machine, and he came down and that same beat. I was like, Busy, I need that same rat-a-tat-tat-tat style. And he was like, no man, something new. So I was like, okay. And then he came up with, step out in the I'm like, yo, dancehall it had the style coming from a DJ named Lecturer from back in the day, right? But the refreshing style from Busy Signal, that's how Step Out came about. Now we have a lot more production, even with Vibes Carter. We have production with Anthony B. And I have a big song with Bushman himself. This Bushman song is called Clutchback. Now it reflects same meaning as Call the Hearse, rinsing shot in head. And I call Bushman with the beat influenced from same Steely and Clevie rhythm.
Yes.
I called Steely, Clevie and got clearance and told Bushman, I want the same sound, same concept of Call the Hearse. And trust me, let me tell you, that song Clutch Back, give them a piece like Bushman.
Nigga morning, fly start to swarm him, cause from the same bad company where him go falling. Him mother want him, never take the talking. Now him leave him friends and family, them balling. Early morning, cap a shot, boy squeegee on the gully side. In a him best friend, 8 back, him goes.
Yes. So that song was released last year, October, and it's growing. We're still going to do a video and all of that. So that's one of our latest production with Bushman.
Yeah,
so,
video is in the pipeline.
Right. So I'm telling you, it's just, we just love music. We're just versatile. We love music. And again, humbleness. No hype at all. We just love music. And I hope to work with Stonebwoy and a lot of more African artists also, because unity is strength for the world. You know what I mean? So Renaissance coming from where Renaissance coming from, and to be here still relevant 30 years later, it means so much. Yes, because a lot has come and go. And we're still here. Yeah. We're still here. It's a joy. Yeah. Thank you.
We still have a lot of tunes we would have loved to play from all three of our guests, but time is running out and we want to give you the chance to put questions to our special guests. So whoever, right here.
Does it work? Yeah. My question is for Bushman. After Rebel Salute, you were expressing that you are concerned about the message that the youths nowadays are hearing and that there is not enough of a platform for the conscious message. What responsibility do you think musicians, the industry, us listeners, and maybe even governments have? Oh, yeah, that's my question.
Yo. I just think, as I said before, music is a platform for self-expression. You know what I'm saying? But I just think the regulation of the music should be one of the things that we look at. The way how it's being played on the airwaves. Like, for instance, I speak of Jamaica. In Jamaica, the public transportations, anything goes. Now you have all kind of people that takes that public transportation. I just think that music, that kind of music should be playing personally in your car or in your home. If you want it to be played, you cannot impose that on people. Right. The corner shops that my grandchild or my child goes to buy a sweet, a lollipop, some cheese chips or something like that. You can't have them derogatory music being played. What kind of generation are you growing up next? Are these murderers, pedophiles, and what you call them, home wreckers? You know, we just need to generate a regulation around the music, how it's being played, where it's being played, and when it's being played, and impose on our kids, which is the generation next. Role model is not something of choice. As long as you're an elder, whether you're a parent or not, you have a role to play. Let's play it.
Thank you. I have a question for Bushman. As you were growing up as a young person and aspiring to be a musician, Was there somebody like an artist, a reggae artist, whom you looked up to and to become? Because when I listen to your music, which I do a lot, I hear a voice of Luciano as well as Peter Tosh. Did these people inspire you to become a musician?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Thank you. I mean, iron sharpens iron, as we say. One countenance brightens the other. Each one teaches one. So it's quite influential. As a youth growing up, the likes of a Peter Tosh, the likes of Bob Marley, Jacob Miller, Sanchez, the likes of Weenie Wonder, because these cats were before me. You know what I say? The likes of Courtney Melody, Mikey Melody. You know what I'm saying? Because my name before Bushman was Junior Melody. So these are all influences. Now, drama was one thing that I loved going to school. So doing drama, I learned to own the character. You know, if you're acting as an old man, you're supposed to own that. Look like an old man, talk like an old man. So you know, the old Peter Tosh thing, because he's quite influential. It started with Lighthouse. Just shine his light out for me. He turns the lighthouse for me. This song was brought to me by a production house called Art to Art from New York. But the musical composition was already there and the lyric was brought to me. The musical composition was speaking to me as Peter Tosh. So I was like, yo, being the Naya man, Bushman, which is the medicine man, I am going to project this medicine with an ailment from Peter Tosh, you know what I say? To really, it's a form of medicine, and we'll bring a Peter Tosh kind of energy into it to bring the people to the awareness. Because one of the things is that most of the times when I travel barriers, a lot of people always say, Bob Marley, when they can affiliate you to reggae music. And I think Peter Tosh has done great jobs also, you know? So there and then, I took it on myself to, you know, project that energy, that Peter Tosh energy. So after Lighthouse now, my fans were saying, yo, that sounds like Peter and so on. So there and then I was, yo, I'm going to do a tribute to Peter Tosh. Bushman sings the Bush Doctor, which I think the name Bushman was ordained. You know what I'm saying? It was meant to be that my first producers gave me the name Bushman. So in the future, I could also say Bushman sings the Bush Doctor. Blessings.
Thank you.
For Radio Clara in Valencia, Spain, I got two questions. First at all to Stonebwoy, and after that to Bushman. Okay, talking about Ghana music industry, I'm very interested to know that what is the influence of that kind of musical airlift between Accra and Lagos and Nigeria. You got a lot of music industry during the last 5 years with big artists, not only in Africa, even crossing the ocean, like Shatta Whale or even Miss V doing Summertime by Vybz Kartel, an example. But what is this influence of crossover with Nigerian style and forms to arise an own local music industry today in Ghana? That's the first question for Stonebwoy. Mr. Duncan, I'm very emotional, in an emotional sense, to know finally, because I was broadcasting your Nyaman chant in the same year of the radio, in 1997, and my question to you is, from Estilian Clivey days until today, what do you think that is your space inside the Jamaican industry after this kind of pseudo-revolution, with all that youngsters recovering the past in this decade, electronics, the nine, and all of that. What is your own expense as veteran in this kind of message and music? Thank you very much.
Okay, my responsibility in this music industry is because I see this like a relay, once passing the baton, and you have to run your leg to the best of your ability. Now with the passing of Gregory Isaac and Dennis Brown and Josephville Culture and just to name a few, then my responsibility gets much more huge, much more vast, because there is so much space within the music. And then there's always people doing conscious music, but more attention is being paid to the offspring, which is dancehall music. So my responsibility gets greater to do more and more and more, because I know my role and I know my responsibility. Rastafari.
I have a question, but Bushman is an artist where he's when it comes to music and reggae music, he's very emotional, very. That means he takes it very serious. It's not a joke, it's not something to play with. He takes his work serious. Now, what you just said, your responsibility, your role, which is correct, but I can tell you this. If Bushman goes on a dancehall beat right now, he himself knows this. He will dominate that with that song and just get all the attention same way, just as like much in the reggae. So it's music at the end of the day, but he has a role to play to defend reggae and roots. Yes. But it comes back to dancehall and reggae, because Bushman, if he goes on a dancehall beat, it's a hit. Yes. You understand? So it's just a role to play in this music game. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think the question was about the influence, right? One more time so I can answer it properly. I need to hear it well. Yeah, the crossover with Nigerian music, right? Between Ghanaian music and Nigerian music. I mean, producers and artists. Right, all right, thank you very much. What I actually know is that both countries are like, are supposed to even be like neighboring. You know, like you only fly 45 minutes or you drive like 6, 7, 8 hours to Nigeria, and we're like two English-speaking countries on the West African side. So we have a lot in common. Therefore, our crossover or the influence is similar. It's the same energy. You find out that Ghanaians are like the secret spice behind the whole heights, and the Nigerians are like the face of it. You know, when it comes to our music, that's how I feel it is.
You see what reggae does? Look what reggae does.
Yo, yo, yo.
See the joy?
I think
that's what reggae music is about.
But I think one of the things is that, as I said, iron sharpens iron. And as soon as us as musicians and even the fans listen some real good music, then it automatically takes onto us. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, a Stonebwoy listening someone from Nigeria, and he sounds, something draws his attention. Yo, I like that. Immediately, in his head, in his subconscious, he's creating because he likes that. So immediately, in his subconsciousness, because music works on your subconscious.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear a song and yo, me not like that song, yeah.
But when you hear it for 3 times,
But guess what? You went into the supermarket, you heard that song. That song's playing on the radio. Sooner or later you find yourself singing that punchline. Singing that, yo, what am I doing? That works on your subconscious.
Can I add one thing? You find out that you spread music that you don't like, sometimes more than the music that you like. I see Jazzy, I say, Jazzy, did you hear that song? I don't like it. It's still spreading. It's true. But you see, it's good, it don't even bother you, like just chill. I mean, so literally, that's right. Whatever we do here, when I hear Nigerian sound and when Nigerians hear our sound, you know, we get that connection, and I trust you, like, that's how it has always been. Like, no matter how big Nigeria is as a country, you know, because they may be the second most populated or the most populated in Africa. So they drive a certain force that represents the African front. Actually, so every other African country, especially us as Ghana, struggle to get that front line, which is not a problem to me at all. Like you said, we all have roles to play. Yes. So Ghana actually plays so much role in creating the raw stuff, and then Nigeria does the print and sell.
Very true.
You know what I mean? But it's the same us.
Yes, I.
It's a very, you see, a lot of people get carried away sometimes because this what you see in here, you see us deliver on stage. I'm a selector, I'm a producer, artist. Although you see us on stage, we are faced with a lot of battles at time.
Perfect.
So you, as the people, you might be going through some bill problems, you're going through children problems, you're going through, it's not you alone. We are going through stuff as well. But we know that we have to deliver music to the people, so we have to get ourselves prepared, stay humble, don't let the distraction carry you away. Because in the music business, there's a lot of distraction. A lot. Believe me. For example, when I produced Sean Paul's song, We'll Be Burning, Not Concerning What Nobody, the record company called me and Delano, and Jeremy Hardin was Sean Paul's manager at the time, and said, we cannot release a weed song. You have to change it to a club version. And we're like, why? Because the weed thing, it's not gonna work. So
he doesn't know that the Prime Minister burns his herbs in his sanctuary.
But you're talking about, this was 2004.
Yo.
So when Sean Paul did that song in our studio, and we had to change it to a club version, which for me personally, I said no to it, right? But Sean was coming out with his album, and the company that Sean was on said they're not going to release a song if we don't do a club version. Now, hence for me saying that is, it's a lot of, we got distracted, to be honest, because the original song is a weed song, which now look on the world today. They don't play the club version. DJs in the world, nobody listens to the club version. We'll be clubbing. No, they want to hear, we'll be burning. You understand? So that's my example.
Jazzy, me not tell a lie. No guy couldn't get me put out a tune like that. We'll be clubbing.
No, it says we'll be burning, not concerning what nobody want to say. Just give me the, and let me, so you can't say smoke.
Yeah.
He didn't say trees.
But Jazzy, look here now. We'll be clubbing. You know me, I say, that sounds weird because without herbs you can't go at the club. But at times the club man will say, no smoking in the club. But you have yearly to smoke, and you take 2 draws, put that out, by the smell goes to him.
Right.
You move.
That's my point.
I was standing here. When he smells it here, I'm over there. Ganja Afibon in our club.
Yeah.
Now, now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So, big up to Dubmaster from New York City in the place. And Dubmaster is one of the influences who breaks a lot of records in the New York City area.
Yeah.
And I'm explaining to the people, Dubby, about distraction. Even you as a radio personality, one of the number one in New York, we get a lot of distraction.
Yes, true.
Well,
Yeah, Jazzy, we would really like to go on, and it is a beautiful session. The problem is only the main stage is starting only in a couple.
And before we
minutes.
finish, I just
Yes.
have to remind that tomorrow, right here at 4 p.m., there will be a special screening of the film Rude Boy, the story of Trojan Records, held over from yesterday when we had technical difficulties. And then we'll be back here in the tent, 6 p.m. for our final Reggae University session this year, entitled It's Dangerous, looking at the movie of the film Rockers, with the star of the film, Leroy Horsemouth Wallace, Kidusai, Big Youth, and Lloyd Parks. But right about now, one more round of applause for our special guests, Bushman, Jazzy T, and Stonebwoy.
Respect.
And before we go, big up some other people where take on to the music which are not Jamaicans, the likes of Alba Rosie, Gentleman, you know me I say, and Slightly Stupid, J-Bug, you know me I say, and do remember to support my new album Conquering Lion. It's produced by my music house, Burning Bushes Music. I for myself think it's a wonderful album, and tonight I'll be
And Stonebwoy